Hello. Today our learning goal is to subtract linear expressions. Again, remember from when we added linear expressions that linear expressions are expressions which eventually we're going to graph as lines when we turn them into equations. But they are expressions that have no exponents in the problem higher than 1. Subtracting rational numbers. Here, to subtract one linear expression from another, we add the opposite of each term in the expression. You can use a vertical or a horizontal method. Again, I'm going to show you what I do. I'll show you a little of what they do. Notice the second problem B, I changed that plus sign to a minus sign because that's, I think, really what they wanted us to do. So let's look at A. 4x plus 5, and then we are subtracting negative x and positive 7. So if we do it the vertical method, we line it up. So they took 4x plus 5, and underneath it, they put the negative x plus 7. And notice we are subtracting here. So when we subtract, I put in red that we change the subtraction sign to an addition sign. And we change all the signs that come after it, not before it, after it, to the opposite. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the subtraction sign to an addition sign by going like that. There we go. So therefore the negative x now becomes a positive x. And the positive 7 now becomes a negative 7. Notice they rewrote it then. They wrote it over here. So now, all you do, once you've changed all their signs, is you add vertically, like we've been doing. 5 minus 7 is negative 2. So they put minus 2. 4x plus 1x is 5x. It's that simple. There's our answer. Okay, if we look at problem B, they're talking about difference, but then they put an addition sign in between. So I'm fixing that. Turn that into a minus sign. Okay, so now we're going to do the horizontal method. I don't do all of the stuff down here that they do. I'll just show you real quickly. I usually do it with a highlighter or I circle like terms. Okay, but again, since it's a subtraction problem, we have to change the subtraction sign here in the center to an addition sign. And everything that comes after it to the opposite. So 13y was positive. We have to make it negative. This is a negative 7, the minus 7. So we have to make that a plus 7. And then we go and we start by combining our like terms. I notice I have a negative 5y combined with a negative 13y. And when you combine a negative 5y with a negative 13y, don't forget the negative sign, I wrote it up there, is negative 18y. Next, we're going to combine the two numbers. I have a positive 2 and a positive 7. And then I get positive 9. So once you change the sign in the middle to an addition sign and make the two numbers, or however many numbers come after it, the opposite, you just follow the rules for adding. And there's my answer, negative 18y plus 9. They go through a long process. You can look at it. You could do it their way if you'd like. I think my way is easier. Okay, so we're going to go down and we're going to look at the first practice problem. It's a subtraction problem. So I change the subtraction sign to an addition sign. And everything that comes after it, not before it, to the opposite. So that was a negative b, I make it a positive b. That's a positive 12, I make it a negative 12. And then I combine my like terms. I have a b plus a b. Well, b plus b is 2b. I have a negative 3 and a negative 12 now, which is negative 15. Done. Next, looking at problem number 2, I notice that there is a 3 outside of the parentheses, which means I have to start with the distributive property before I can do anything else. And this time, I think I'll do this one vertically, just to show you a different method. 3 times D is 3D. 3 times 4.5 is, trying to think, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times a half is 1.5. So it would be positive 13.5. Then we're going to subtract. But when we subtract, we really add the opposites. So I'm going to turn this into a plus sign. The 2D would become negative, and the 4 would also become negative. So underneath the 3D, I'm going to write minus 2D. And underneath the plus 13.5, I'm going to put plus 4. Notice how where I put my 4. There's no decimal in the number 4, but I do know that the decimal point comes after it. And when we add and subtract decimals, you gotta line up that decimal point. Okay, so we're going to start with what's 13.5 plus 4? Well, that would be 17.5. And it's positive. What is 3D minus 2D? Well, it's just D. That's it. That's simple. And then finally the last one. There's no numbers out in front of the parentheses, so we're just going to change the subtraction sign to an addition sign, and everything that comes after it to the opposite. So R was positive, I'm going to make it negative. 2 was negative, I'm going to make it positive. And then again, I'm going to start and do what's 4R minus R, which would be 3R, and then what is negative 3 and positive 2. Negative 3 and a positive 2 is a negative 1. Done. 3R minus 1. Now down to the word problem. The original price of a sweater is $D. You buy the sweater for M minus $3. You decorate the sweater and sell it for 5M minus $7. Write an expression that represents your earnings from buying and selling the sweater. Well, you sold it, obviously, for more than what you bought it for because you want to make a profit. So we know we're going to be doing 5M minus 7, and then we're going to be subtracting M minus 3. Again, when we subtract, we add the opposite. So I'm going to change the color first. I'm going to change the subtraction sign to an addition sign. I'm going to make the M that comes after it was positive, negative. I'm going to make the 3, which was negative, positive. And then I'm going to combine my like terms. 5M minus M is equal to 4M. And negative 7 combined with a positive 3 is negative 3. So there's my answer. Okay, next you're going to try some Pearson problems and see how you do.